The real story behind the exorcism of Emily Rose is based on the tragic life and death of Anneliese Michel, a young German woman who became the center of one of the most controversial exorcism cases in history. Welcome to the Vault of Horrors. Michel was born on September 21, 1952, in Leibelfing, Bavaria, West Germany. She was raised in a devout Roman Catholic family and was described as a kind, religious, and intelligent young woman. She was deeply committed to her faith, often attending Mass twice a week. As Anneliese's condition worsened, she reported experiencing terrifying visions, demonic voices, and feelings of being possessed. She described seeing grotesque faces during her prayers and hearing voices commanding her to commit violent acts. These experiences left her convinced that her condition was not purely medical, but spiritual. Her devout family sought help from priests after Anneliese began displaying strange behaviors, such as avoiding religious symbols like crucifixes and holy water, speaking in guttural voices and unknown languages, performing acts of extreme strength and endurance, consuming insects, and drinking her own urine. Despite her worsening condition, doctors continued to treat her with psychiatric medications, but Anneliese and her family were convinced that she was possessed by demonic forces. In 1973, after years of unsuccessful medical treatments, the Michel family approached the Catholic Church, seeking an exorcism. Initially, their requests were denied, as the church required substantial evidence of possession. However, after careful observation, two priests, Father Ernst Alt and Father Arnold Renz, were granted permission to perform an exorcism under strict conditions. In 1975, Anneliese stopped her medical treatments, believing that her condition could only be resolved through spiritual intervention. This decision proved to be a critical turning point. Between September 1975 and July 1976, Father Alt and Father Renz conducted 67 exorcism sessions, each lasting up to 4 hours. These sessions were performed in accordance with the Rituale Romanum, the Catholic Church's official exorcism rite. During the exorcisms, Anneliese displayed violent and disturbing behaviors. She spoke in multiple voices, claiming to be possessed by demons, including Lucifer, Cain, Judas Iscariot, and others. She screamed, barked, and contorted her body in unnatural ways. She refused to eat or drink, claiming that the demons were forbidding her from consuming sustenance. Audio recordings from these sessions capture chilling exchanges, with Anneliese's voice changing drastically as she purportedly argued with the demons. On July 1, 1976, after nearly a year of exorcisms, Anneliese Michel died in her home. She was 23 years old and weighed only 68 pounds at the time of her death. The autopsy revealed severe malnutrition and dehydration as the primary causes of death. There were also signs of physical trauma, believed to have been self-inflicted during her struggles. Anneliese reportedly told her family shortly before her death that she believed her suffering was part of a divine plan to save souls. Her last words were allegedly, "Mother, I'm afraid." Following her death, German authorities charged Father Alt, Father Renz, and Anneliese's parents with negligent homicide. The trial, held in 1978, drew widespread media attention and sparked intense debates about faith, medicine, and mental health. The prosecution argued that Anneliese's death was avoidable and that she should have received medical care instead of exorcisms. They presented medical testimony that her symptoms were consistent with epilepsy and psychosis. The defense argued that Anneliese was genuinely possessed and that the exorcisms were her only hope. They cited the recordings as evidence of supernatural phenomena and claimed that her death was a result of divine intervention. The court ultimately found the priests and Anneliese's parents guilty of manslaughter, sentencing the priests to 6 months in prison, later suspended, and 3 years of probation. The parents were not punished, as the court determined they had suffered enough. Anneliese Michel's story remains a polarizing topic. To some, she was a devout believer who sacrificed herself for a higher purpose. To others, her death is a tragic example of the dangers of religious extremism and the failure of modern medicine to address severe mental illness. Her grave in Klingenberg am Main became a site of pilgrimage for many, with some believers considering her a martyr. The Catholic Church has distanced itself from the case, emphasizing that exorcisms are rare and only performed under strict guidelines. The case of Anneliese Michel continues to provoke questions about the boundaries between faith and science, the nature of mental illness, and the existence of the supernatural. Her story, immortalized in films like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, serves as a haunting reminder of the complexities of human belief and suffering. From a scientific perspective, it is seen as a tragic outcome of untreated mental and neurological illnesses, exacerbated by the cessation of medical care and the influence of religious beliefs. Her death highlights the need for a balanced approach that respects faith while prioritizing medical treatment. From a religious perspective, her suffering is regarded by some as evidence of genuine demonic possession, with her exorcism seen as a spiritual battle. Others see it as a misinterpretation of mental illness through the lens of extreme religiosity. Ultimately, Anneliese's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting mental health care and the complex interplay between faith, medicine, and cultural beliefs. This is Vault of Horrors. Thank you for watching.